It is inevitable, given human nature and given the greed of people, that sooner or later some stronger nation would want to live in New Zealand, would want to steal away Aotearoa because of its beauty and its charm. The Dutch had a little pop at it, the French had a little pop at it, and the British managed it. In the takeover, there is so much injustice, and that happens time and time again throughout the history of mankind. The stronger people have overcome the weaker nations. But with Suzanne Aubert came to help the iwi, to help the Maoris in this time. She was French, the British had it, and she was here for the people. And that is where she stayed, not to take over the people, but to help them through that struggle while other people were downtreading them. Had it not been British, it would have been somebody. We know not who, but that's how it happened. And as they came to take the land, they were ruthless and reckless. And so we've got Suzanne coming in to try and support them, to be with them in their suffering. That is what compassion is, to be there with people in their suffering. Pu aroha, that's the compassion, to share that's love and suffering. She was the first one. Not only was she the first one to make the link and to win the hearts of the people, because to win the hearts of Māori people you have to be tested and proved. Our people, because of society, they've been put down so much that they don't trust easily. You have to win your place there. And she won her place. She won her place through the rongoa, and through her knowledge of te reo, and her knowledge of the customs, her respect for the people. Lots of people don't respect other cultures, but Suzanne did. And so that has enabled us as a congregation to stand where we stand. And as a congregation, we were really, Māori way, we were born of tamatea and kepa, because they gave us land, and Māoridom, when you gift land, it's like an adoption, because the land is our mother, the whenua is the mother, Papatuanuku is the mother, and when you gift land and gift your mother, you become part. That is why we have what we say, turanga waiwai, the right to stand on those maraes. That's why our people say, and you hear them say, the sisters and we are one. We are one. And that is like an adoption. The tikanga Māori, or the wairua of the Māori, was really so similar to Catholicity, particularly because of the Eucharist, because of Hakere. Hakere is the feast of the Māori people, and Eucharist is the feast of the Catholic Church. And all along the way I saw how the Old Testament was carried through with the iwi in a mythology way, but the truth of mythology were contained in the Old Testament, and as we know from Adam and Eve, the church used mythology also. And so with this parallel, it became very obvious to me that these two things are saying the same. And it just needed somebody to tie the things together, because people got the idea that they were different. They ran in lines that never met, but it's not true. They run in lines that are joined together. And so that is why I became so enthusiastic about what I hear from our people. And I used to go and spend days with our very wonderful kuia, who's since gone to her rest. There was Joan Akapeter and Richie and those ones, and listen and talk. And so we got to the stage of saying these two things are the same, and they are the pillars or the Paul or the apostles upon which the church is built. And so I attribute this really to Suzanne Aubert, indirectly, because if it wasn't for my becoming a member of this congregation, I would not have followed that line at all, really. I don't think, and I wouldn't have been so close to the people anyway. Suzanne Aubert, one of her main thrusts was to be undenominational. So the thing was that we gave our services free. Sisters never charged, and we ran our big hospitals and everything else, and we never charged. So it was for the poor, and it was undenominational. As a matter of fact, we were so... I personally got this idea from my training that this undenominational aspect was emphasised so much that when I was in a situation of admitting people to a residential, I seemed to go to people who were not Catholic. I think really because that was our, you could say this word, boast, if you like. It was what we were taught. We were undenominational, and probably the first and for many, many years in New Zealand, the only people who would have been undenominational, the only church that had this thrust to all peoples, regardless, and regardless of colour or creed.
Right. That's right.
And that's what was said at her funeral. One of the bystanders said, "What religion is this woman?" And the answer was, that is a question she would have asked neither you nor I. And it was for poor people. It wasn't for rich.